Where does our drinking water come from? What makes it good? These are increasingly important questions as the threat of water scarcity looms large in so many places across our world. To answer some of them, we spoke to Martha Kaplan, Professor of Anthropology at Vassar College, about her latest book project, Water Cultures, Fiji, New York, and Singapore.
First of all humans need water. And water is a focus of environmental urgency, of material concern, and a lot of political contention. Thinking with water opens new ways of understanding meaning making, from exploitative fetishism to responsible and engaged environmental imaginations. And to think with water, my book project takes up these three extreme contrasting examples within today's global commoditized world of water interconnections. In the 1990s, friends in Fiji started writing me letters that someone was going to build a water factory in the village of Dranivi, which is the place where the Vatukalaco people now live. And immediately it was clear that there were going to be very interesting issues of whether this was going to be a company that would engage especially with the indigenous people in the area. We have indigenous landowners closely tied to the land with strong feelings about their political rights, thinking that they should receive a return on that. It's like they're shareholders. The state technically owns the land. Technically, they receive rents. And what is the duty of the state? To use resources for the good of all citizens? Or is this land and this water the special property of the indigenous people from whose land it is bottled? To sell Fiji water, the Fiji Water Company needed to occlude, to ignore, to never represent the actual history of the Vatukalaco people, but instead to make, as the ads say, Fiji water seem untouched by man until you drink it from its bottle. Where I live in Dutchess County, you can actually see in the different water sources that people have some different interplays with people's trust or relationship to the state. You have people who use public water sources from the Hudson River, and then there's a lot of distrust and anxiety about the Hudson River. You have people who have wells. In many cases, people were deeply resentful of any attempt to impose water testing regulations. There's a lot of popular trust in corporations to sell water and, delight in bottled water. But often we find in various American communities a kind of distrust of the state. But I do want to say we have had past successes. When you go by a drinking fountain, a water fountain, remember, what does that stand for? That stands for the successes of desegregation and civil rights. It stands for the ADA and that vision of public water. From Singapore, water-scarce Singapore, it's state-organized, extremely safe, recycled sewer water. We see on the one hand, it's high-tech national urban water innovation, and simultaneously, let's picture an inventive invocation of water enjoyment and care, including an insouciant blue water drop mascot for this public utilities board that provides this high-tech water. It's a narrative that now invites people not to sacrifice, but instead to engage with water. The idea is to invite people to kayak on reservoirs, to invite people and to encourage people to enjoy water, to re-landscape utilitarian so-called drainage ditches into places for recreation or places of beauty, and to encourage an attitude of joy. Conserve, protect, and joy is the slogan. That's what public water is. And it includes this high-tech, beautifully safe, trustworthy, recycled water. And if you talk about this in the US, they range from revolted to skeptical. And yet, California is facing droughts. Urban water systems in California are considering recycled water technologies, not just for gray water for agriculture, but this extraordinarily pure water that could be added to the urban drinking water supply. Looking at the US, what will impel people's interest? When we look back at the history of the different ways that people have coalesced around water projects, maybe it's some of the same projects, some of the same impulses that created the desegregation of the water fountain, the movement of the ADA. Maybe it's inclusion, maybe it's equity, to be seen.